David Ellefson fires back at Dave Mustaine, Megadeth feud explodes. Bad news for Megadeth fans. The gloves are officially off. One of the most bitter feuds in heavy metal history has just exploded again, and this time the words are brutal. Former Megadeth bassist David Ellefson is firing back at Dave Mustaine after a new interview where Mustaine dismissed the idea of bringing former band members back for Megadeth as final shows. And Ellefson, he's not holding anything back. For months now, fans have been wondering whether Megadeth's eventual farewell shows might feature a reunion of classic members. After all, the band's early lineup helped define thrash metal in the 1980s. But when Mustaine was recently asked about the possibility of former members appearing at those final concerts, his answer shut the door almost immediately. According to Mustaine, bringing everyone back simply wasn't possible because of the behavior of one particular person. He didn't name names. But it didn't take long for people to connect the dots. And Ellefson clearly took that personally. Speaking on a new podcast interview, Ellefson responded directly to the comments, and his reaction was explosive. At one point during the conversation, he bluntly told Mustaine to just F*** off. That moment alone sent shockwaves through the metal community. But the most dramatic part of the interview came when Ellefson compared how Mustaine treated him to how Metallica handled Mustaine decades earlier. Fans will remember that Mustaine was famously fired from Metallica back in 1983 before the band recorded their debut album. Yet even after that dramatic split, Metallica still used several of Mustaine's songwriting contributions on early records and gave him credit. Ellefson says his own situation inside Megadeth was very different. The breaking point dates back to 2021. That was when Ellefson was abruptly fired from Megadeth after explicit private videos involving the bassist were leaked online. The scandal quickly spread across social media. Soon after, Mustaine released a public statement announcing that Ellefson was no longer part of the band. But Ellefson now says the aftermath went even further than fans realized. According to him, Mustaine removed all of his bass recordings and lyrical contributions from the band's album that was in production at the time. Even songs they had worked on together were altered. Ellefson revealed that he had co-written lyrics with Mustaine for the song Soldier on Megadeth's latest album. But after the scandal broke, his bass tracks and writing contributions were wiped from the record. And that decision clearly still stings. Ellefson says the contrast between his situation and Mustaine's experience with Metallica is impossible to ignore. When Mustaine was fired from Metallica, the band still kept his work on their songs. They credited him. They paid him. According to Ellefson, Mustaine didn't extend the same courtesy. Instead, he says Mustaine removed everything. The bassist also revealed something even more surprising. At the time of his firing, his legal team allegedly encouraged him to take legal action against Mustaine over the public statements made about him. Ellefson claims his lawyers described the band's announcement as unconscionable and lacking compassion. They believed he had a legitimate case for defamation. But in the end, Ellefson chose not to pursue it. Instead, he says he made a different decision. Walk away. In the podcast, Ellefson used a striking metaphor to explain his thinking. He said a tug-of-war only has two ways to end. You can pull the other person across the line. Or you can simply drop the rope and let them fall on their own. For now, Ellefson says he's dropping the rope. Despite the ongoing tension, Ellefson isn't stepping away from music. In fact, he's already moved forward with new projects and live performances. He even ended the interview with a message to fans, reminding them they can still catch him performing live on tour. But as for a Megadeth reunion, after these latest comments, that possibility now looks more unlikely than ever. Heavy metal has always been filled with rivalries, breakups, and explosive personalities. But this feud between Dave Mustaine and David Ellefson may be one of the most complicated chapters in thrash metal history. And if the latest comments are any indication, the wounds between these two founding members are still far from healed. But the story between David Ellefson and Dave Mustaine didn't start in 2021. In fact, the tension between the two goes back decades. For most of Megadeth's history, Ellefson wasn't just another band member. He was one of the original architects of the group alongside Mustaine. When Mustaine formed Megadeth in 1983 after his dramatic departure from Metallica, Ellefson quickly became his most trusted collaborator. The two musicians built the band from the ground up. Album after album, tour after tour, they pushed Megadeth into the upper tier of thrash metal. Records like Peace Sells, But Who's Buying, Rust in Peace, and Countdown to Extinction turned the band into one of the biggest names in heavy music. For fans, Mustaine and Ellefson were always seen as the backbone of Megadeth. But behind the scenes, their relationship was rarely simple. Over the years, there were disagreements about money, control of the band, and creative direction. Ellefson even briefly left the group back in the early 2000s after a legal dispute over royalties and ownership. For a while, it looked like their partnership might be finished for good. Yet in 2010, something surprising happened. Ellefson returned to the band. Fans celebrated the reunion because it felt like Megadeth had its classic chemistry back again. The two founders appeared to have buried their differences and moved forward. For more than a decade after that, the band continued touring and releasing new music. Which is why the events of 2021 shocked so many people in the metal community. The scandal that led to Ellefson's dismissal erupted almost overnight. Explicit private messages and video clips involving the bassist surfaced online and spread quickly across social media. Almost immediately, speculation and outrage flooded the internet. Within days, Mustaine issued a public statement confirming that Ellefson was no longer part of Megadeth. The announcement felt sudden, cold, and final. From that moment forward, Ellefson's decades-long association with the band appeared to be erased almost instantly. In the months that followed, Megadeth continued forward without him, eventually releasing the album The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead, with a different bassist handling the recorded parts. But Ellefson says what happened behind the scenes during that time is something fans still don't fully understand. According to him, his contributions were stripped away completely. Bass performances were re-recorded. Lyrics were removed. And his involvement in the record disappeared almost entirely. For someone who had spent nearly 40 years building the band, that decision clearly left a lasting impact. That's why Mustaine's recent comments about not inviting former members to Megadeth's final shows struck such a nerve. To Ellefson, the implication that he was somehow the reason for that decision felt unfair. And that frustration is what fueled the explosive response fans are hearing now. Still, despite the anger, Ellefson insists he's trying to move forward rather than keep the conflict alive. In the podcast interview, he made it clear that he has no intention of dragging the situation into court, even though his lawyers believed he had a case. Instead, he's focusing on the future. These days, Ellefson continues performing, recording music, and touring with other projects. He's appeared with multiple bands and guest artists, staying active in the heavy metal world even after his departure from Megadeth. For fans who grew up watching Mustaine and Ellefson share the stage together, the idea that their partnership might truly be over is difficult to accept. After all, the two musicians helped shape an entire genre of music. But judging by the latest exchange of words, that bridge may be permanently burned. And unless something dramatic changes, it seems increasingly unlikely that fans will ever see the classic Megadeth lineup reunite one last time. For now, the feud between these two thrash metal pioneers remains unresolved. And the final chapter of this story may still be yet to come. And before we come to the end of this video, I just want to take a moment to say a very big thank you to all of you for watching. Your time truly means a lot. In a world where there are thousands of videos you could be watching right now, the fact that you chose to spend a few minutes here with me on Hajara Rama TV is something I truly appreciate. This channel continues to grow because of viewers like you. Every view, every comment, and every bit of support helps this community become stronger. And that's what makes creating these videos so rewarding. If you enjoyed this video, please take a quick moment to like the video, leave a comment below, and share it with your friends or anyone who might enjoy this content. Your interaction really helps the channel reach more people who love stories, entertainment, and updates just like you do. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, Hajara Rama TV, and turn on the notification bell so you'll always be among the first to know when a new video is uploaded. There are many more exciting videos coming your way very soon, and I would love for you to be part of this journey as the channel continues to grow. I also enjoy hearing your thoughts, so feel free to drop your opinions, ideas, or suggestions in the comments section. Your voice matters here, and your feedback helps make Hajara Rama TV even better. Once again, thank you so much for watching and for being part of this amazing community. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, stay entertained, and keep watching Hajara Rama TV.